Welcome back, true believers, to another Spider-Man PS4 related video, and today I'm going to be discussing whether or not we will see gadgets be used from or by Spider-Man in the game. So this is kind of like referencing back to the Batman Arkham games, and also referencing back to the history of Spider-Man. Peter Parker is a really smart guy. Okay, he can make his own web fluid. He made his own web shooters. He just is a super chemical engineering genius and just knows everything about the scientific field and how to totally use his knowledge to add abilities and use his full intellectuality into the life of him as Spider-Man. And, we haven't really had a game that has fully utilized the scientific and intellectual properties that Peter Parker has and that can be inputted in a game. Now, so far, we've only had a couple games that have actually used gadgets, but not really. They were just there for like a second or like one part of the game, and that's it. And this is my first example, and these are three gadgets that I would assume would be in the game, or what I hope would be in the game. But I think that these three gadgets will be in the game because, again, if you listen to Insomniac's developer interviews from E3, they have said that Peter is a really smart guy, and he can use his intellectual abilities to create gadgets and utilities that he can use in his life as Peter, and how he can bring that into the fight as Spider-Man. They didn't say gadgets, but they were kind of hinting towards that. They were saying, like, he's a really smart guy, he knows how to create lots of different and unique things and do lots of intellectual things. So how does that carry over from him as Peter and him as Spider-Man? So it's two different lives. And these are the three gadgets that I believe we will most likely see in Spider-Man PS4. If there are any other gadgets that I'm forgetting on this list or I did not put on this list, feel free to let me know. But starting off, we have these spider tracers. Now, we have seen these in the Amazing Spider-Man games, as well as the second Spider-Man game made by Neversoft. And in that game, it was just a cutscene. It was like Spider-Man had to stick a spider tracer to the back of a motorcycle to catch up with one of Shocker's goons, I think it was. And then the Amazing Spider-Man games, Peter just used that to connect to the antennas and the satellite dishes around New York City to, like, hear from police officers, and, like, there's a car robbery going in. There's a bank robbery. There's some people fighting in the streets. There's a person getting trapped in a fire, or like whatever. So stuff like that. But it never felt, at least to me, really prominent in the game. It was just a little device to get to point A to point B in the story. It's like, oh, Spider-Man can listen to cop chatter through the spider tracers. What I've always wanted to do with spider tracers, in my opinion, is if this is a free roaming Spider-Man game, and I'm assuming the map is going to be really huge, and say that there's a lot of people in New York City. There's over 9 million people in New York City. Some people are civilians, some people are criminals. I would assume that there would be at least one person in New York that would do one crime, and then there would be another person in New York doing another crime, happening simultaneously. So what I would like to see is a feature where you see someone robbing a bank, for example, you stick a spider tracer on that person who's getting away, and then you go and deal with someone fighting crime right now in a certain area that you are in as Peter or Spider-Man. You take them out, you have the spider tracer, you look on your mini-map, and that way you can see the spider tracer's location and take out the bad guys that you couldn't catch instantly. That would be super wicked if they did that. That is my dream, if they use that type of feature in a Spider-Man game and have that spider tracer feature be featured in the game. I would love that. So that's number one. Number two is the spider light. Now, this was hinted at least in Spider-Man, in his character in Captain America Civil War, and it was very prominently featured at the end, coming out from Spider-Man's web shooters, from Tom Holland's Peter Parker's web shooters, that Tony Stark made him, or that he improved upon. So I don't know in the movies if it's going to be like some way he can communicate with Tony Stark or something like that. But so far, what the use of the spider light is that in the comics it was used to actually fear criminals, which is a funny thing to think about coming from Spider-Man. But maybe if it's nighttime, he could use that to try and see around and actually try and hunt down criminals that are hiding, or certain villains that he's trying to track down, or maybe try and find clues. I know that's not really how Spider-Man works. He's not like Batman, but I don't know. It'd be fun to see if they actually use the spider light in the game in some way, like trying to look through nighttime or trying to take out and hunt down criminals at night or something like that to maybe like find criminals. That'd be really cool. And adding on to the spider light, we have the utility belt. Now, a really cool thing that I like about the utility belt that they used in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 games is that it was an exterior belt. It was on the outside of Spider-Man's suit in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 that added kind of like a different type of intellectual perspective of Peter and how he can utilize his web shooters. And in that game, if you were to wear the belt and you started web swinging and web shooting, he would automatically refill his web shooters with cartridges, but just by like reloading in a quick second. And Spider-Man has web shooters in this game. It doesn't look like he has a utility belt on the outside, but that belt that he has kind of looks like it's sticking out a bit. So I would think it would be kind of like this, like a really small, thin utility belt that he could like pull up his shirt and his costume, or pull up the top of his costume and take out some web cartridges or something. I think that would be really helpful and add a realistic vibe for Spider-Man to use and refill his web shooters, or something like that to add a hint of realism when swinging through the city, and see if other things could be stored there, like what I was saying before. His spider tracers could be stored there, web cartridges, the spider light, anything that you can think of. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If I left anything out, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for watching, True Believers. Peace out.